distinguished dignitaries on the dais, the chief guest of today's momentous occasion, Sri Itala Rajendra Garu, the guests of honor, Dr. Anuradha Garu, Dr. Pratibha Lakshmi Garu, Srimati Dhanalakshmi, and above all, Naga Parmala Garu, and every member sitting here. I believe it's a divine blessing of God Almighty to be a part of this momentous occasion. I was told by Parmala Garu that this is the first time in the state of Telangana a BC Women Symposium is being organized, and it's the first of its kind, and this is in particular with regard to social, economic and political empowerment of BC women. I feel I am fortunate. I believe I am blessed. Women, I believe, are the power and spirit of our nation. Nation is always empowered by its woman. It is she who nurtures a citizen as a mother, as a sister, and later in the life as a wife. These empowered citizens eventually make an empowered country. But fact remains, women, however, have always been considered as the weaker sections of the society, as the victims. The development of BC women can be accomplished only by empowering them, by providing them good education, good health, and by focusing on their social empowerment, economic empowerment, and political empowerment. In rural areas, only 15% are literate. Their low level of literacy is due to three interrelated factors: continued monopolization of state, economic, cultural, and other resources by upper class groups, the stronger influence of casteism in rural areas on other backward caste women, and three, the control of backward class males over backward class females and girls. As a consequence, other backward class women access to even basic literacy education is limited. Poverty compels most rural other backward classes parents to send their children to work rather than to school. Many other backward class parents view education for girls as a luxury, pointing out that it is expensive and there is lack of gainful employment opportunities after graduation. For example, other backward class women's participation in the organized sector is negligible. However, many parents also feel that education beyond the primary level for girls will affect their household management. Educated other backward caste females encounter discrimination as well. For example, in employment and wages, appointments and promotions, in political participation, demands made for dowry, and in personal relations. Not all other backward castes have equal access to reservation. Other backward caste women especially do not have equal access as men to benefits reserved for OBCs. Education, I believe, is a tool to empower other backward caste women. Primarily, our focus should be on development for education in respect of all the backward class women. Undoubtedly, education of girls and women is necessary for their full participation in all aspects of life. Despite multiple obstacles and oppression, literacy can be empowering. However, it must be done at a pace and level determined by women themselves. And most importantly, it must address issues important to backward caste women and be accompanied by other social and economic reforms such as sanitation, health, childcare, credit and loans, land reform, water, and fuel supply and conservation and reservation and scholarships for other backward caste women. Educational empowerment. It has been universally accepted that education for women leads to empowerment of the society. Often enough we hear that to educate one woman is to educate a family. Education for women is therefore a necessary prerequisite for an educated and developed nation. Despite of so many educational provisions made by the government for the marginalized sections, the issues like access of education and retention in school is still a big problem for the backward class children. Therefore, it is worth examining the status of access of education among reserved girls as well as consciousness among other backward class women and men regarding education of their girl child, including awareness among them about the welfare schemes launched by the government for them, and last but not the least, the problems faced by other backward class women in access of education. So primarily, focus should be on education for the development of the backward class women. Now second, I deal with social empowerment. It is a process to change the distribution of power in interpersonal relations among different people, cultures, activities of the society. In past, awareness regarding the society is unknown to the woman, but present scenario reveals completely different pictures, and they are equally participating in all activities of the society. Best examples are our current President of India, Srimati Draupadi Murmu ji, and the present Government of Telangana State, Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan ji, who belong to the marginalized sections of the society but have achieved the pinnacles of success in their careers. All efforts must be mobilized to enabling at least the next generation to be genuinely literate, to empower socially. We need to address issues like availability of health and birth control facilities to the backward class women, nutrition for backward class women, access of drinking water and sanitation for women and their family, status of housing and shelter for backward class women and their family, and environment and the connection of backward class women with other women. Thirdly, I would want to dwell upon economic development. Women play a crucial role in all sectors of the Indian economy. They are predominantly represented in the agricultural land, organized sectors, but among these women, the women belonging to other backward class community are most economically deprived section of the Indian society. Other backward class women's access to employment, ownership of assets and land, access to credit, involvement, degree of autonomy on the asset, and engagement in productive activity are some of the issues which are worth analyzing while examining the economic empowerment of the backward class woman. Thirdly, political empowerment. Political empowerment refers to the participation of individuals in the political process, which ensures that individuals are able to take part in deciding the common goals of the society and the best way of achieving these goals. Here, political empowerment includes not merely electoral politics and activities of political parties, but it refers to the issues related to the backward class woman regarding knowledge of political system and means of access to it, domestic support for political engagement, exercising the right to vote, and women's involvement or mobilization in the local political system campaigns. There must be a subquota for BC women in the Women's Reservation Bill to be tabled in the Parliament. Louisa May Alcott, an American woman writer who was also an advocate, wrote in the 19th century that I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning to sail in my ship. It is in this spirit and for charting a further course on BC women's empowerment that we are all assembled here today. Their empowerment is necessary, and that can only come through health, education, and economic and political development. I urge the BC women of this country to believe in themselves. Every mother must also encourage her daughter so that the impulses of growth and confidence are carried forward. The future beckons a more equitable world for all BC women of this country. Indeed, the future of this country lies in an equitable society where all have equal opportunities. The need of the hour is for developing relevant legal, administrative, and other measures to ensure the safety and security of our women. Urgent priority is to develop a comprehensive approach to the holistic empowerment of women. An effective convergence of all elements, social, economic, or political, could serve to facilitate this. Unless there is a real focus on the need for women empowerment, and in particular, the empowerment of the women belonging to the marginalized sections of the society, women empowerment in its true spirit cannot be achieved. I conclude by requesting all the elder members to identify all strong women, to know them, to support them, and to raise them, because the idea of perfect womanhood is perfect independence. Thank you, one and all. I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to speak few words on this momentous occasion, and I thank Nagaparimala Garu once again for making me blessed for being part of this event. Thank you, one and all.